Hi everyone, I am here at a Bible study. I hope you guys are having a good night. So tonight we are going to be in 1 Kings. We'll be in 1 Kings chapter 17. It's a very short chapter. We'll be talking about Elijah being fed by the ravens and the widow of Zarephath. Very short. And a new writer tonight for the devotion is Alice Thompson. And the verse that goes along with her devotion tonight is 1 Kings chapter 17 verse 4, which says, "And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there." And that's something that God commanded the ravens to bring food for Elijah. And they did it. They brought him food. So we'll read that now. So if you're ever asked about a Bible question, you're ever asked Bible questions, what bird did God send Elijah to feed him with? It was the ravens. The ravens. Now Elijah the Tishbite from Tishbe in Gilead said to Ahab, "As the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years, except at my word." Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah, "Leave here, turn eastward, and hide in the Kerith ravine, east of the Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I have ordered the ravens to feed you there." So he did what the Lord had told him. He went to the Kerith ravine, east of the Jordan, and stayed there. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. Some time later, the brook dried up, because there had been no rain in the land. Then the word of the Lord came to him, "Go at once to Zarephath of Sidon, and stay there. I have commanded a widow in that place to supply you with food." So he went to Zarephath. When he came to the town gate, a widow was there gathering sticks. He called to her and asked, "Would you bring me a little water in a jar, so I may have a drink?" As she was going to get it, he called, "And bring me, please, a piece of bread." "As surely as the Lord, your God lives," she replied, "I don't have any bread, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. I am gathering a few sticks to take home and make a meal for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die." Elijah said to her, "Don't be afraid. Go home and do as you have said, but first make a small cake of bread for me from what you have and bring it to me, and then make something for yourself and your son. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says: the jar of flour will not be used up, and the jug of oil will not run dry, until the day the Lord gives rain to the land." So she went away and did as Elijah had told her. So there was food every day for Elijah and for the woman and her family. For the jar of flour was not used up, and the jug of oil did not run dry. In keeping with the word of the Lord, spoken by Elijah, some time later the son of the woman who owned the house became ill. He grew worse and worse, and finally stopped breathing. She said to Elijah, "What do you have against me, man of God? Did you come to remind me of my sin and kill my son?" "Give me your son," Elijah replied. He took him from her arms, carried him to the upper room where he was staying, and laid him on his bed. Then he cried out to the Lord, "O Lord my God, you have brought tragedy also upon this widow, and I am staying with, by causing her son to die." Then he stretched himself out on the boy 3 times and cried to the Lord, "O Lord my God, let this boy's life return to him." The Lord heard Elijah's cry, and the boy's life returned to him, and he lived. Elijah picked up the child and carried him down from the room into the house. He gave him to his mother and said, "Look, your son is alive." Then the woman said to Elijah, "Now I know that you are a man of God, and that the word of the Lord from your mouth is the truth." And that was chapter 17 of 1 Kings. Seems like people always got to see a miracle to believe. Even when Jesus performed miracles, it's like when Jesus told something, they still had to see a miracle to believe. And then when they see miracles, some people still didn't believe. Okay, so let's read the devotion tonight by Alice Thompson. Alice says, "One Sunday after church, my husband's aunt requested his help with a leaking faucet. Since we had plans to visit a new Thai restaurant for dinner, I went home to wait for Mick's return. The time to repair his aunt's plumbing took longer than expected, and as I sat on the couch waiting, my stomach began to growl from hunger. I had two options. I could cook dinner or jump in the car to purchase our meal at a nearby fast food restaurant. Neither option was desirable. Right when I opened a carton of milk to prepare a bowl of cereal, the phone rang. It was my neighbor, Mrs. Mack. "Alice," she said, "I made rutabagas and cornbread for Mick and you." I thanked her, slipped on my shoes, and ran across the street to receive her kindness. I love rutabagas. My mother served them often when I was a child. However, in my adult life, it is a vegetable that I seldom cook. Mrs. Mack remembered a conversation we had when I had mentioned my fondness of the vegetable. When she saw them at a market, she purchased enough to share. How can I ever fret over hunger or lack of? I refuse to do it. You must refuse to do it too. Jesus told the disciples that God knows what we need before we ask for it. Matthew 6:8. And on that Sunday, my Lord's intimate knowledge of my hunger and his immediate ability to command the arrival of sustenance became apparent to me. What do I know for sure? Jesus is forever ready to feed our needs, no matter what they may be. And the homework Alice has tonight for us is visit the market today and ask the Lord to guide you in making purchases that will feed your family and a neighbor's family too. It's always nice to share something with someone else to make them happy. I think that feels better than making your own self happy. I think so. Feels a lot better. Alright guys, that was our Bible study for tonight. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Let's bring those souls to Jesus, and God willing, see you guys again soon with another Bible study. Bye guys. God bless.